Greetings, everyone. It's really great to be home. Although I probably shouldn't tell the story, but so I've been sitting here thinking about the important work of LSC, first and foremost, obviously, but also about my first week in criminal law with Professor Israel. And on the second day, Professor Israel came in, started the lecture by telling us, look, if I ask you a yes or no question, future counselors, if I ask you a yes or no question, then you respond with a yes or no, and then defend your answer. You do not repeat the question. That's what people do when they're stalling and don't have an answer. They're not prepared. Mr. Deutsch. And sure enough, Jerry Israel laid out the very thoughtful question that I listened to, thought about the work that I had done preparing for class, and immediately restated the question that he had asked. And there's no real good ending to that story. That was it. It's a terrible memory. But here's where it happened, so it's nice to be back. Robert, great, thanks for the really generous introduction. We work on lots of different issues, and I'm often reminded in meetings like this, not just about the importance of the work that's being done here, but often in those couple minutes, the introduction of the amount of time that I spend, that we spend, that we all need to be doing more of in this area, especially in providing access to justice for everyone. So I'm grateful for that introduction. John Levy, thank you for your leadership. Dean West, I don't know if the dean is still here, but it is really good to be here. I was a student, and other than that first week, I had a remarkable experience here. One of the things that was so gratifying for me was the time I spent working on the Student Funded Fellowships Board. And the work that we did on SFF, a program that provided grants still to this day, provides grants to law students to take public interest jobs, providing access to the courts, advancing justice, doing all of the important work that we're all so committed to. That work that I did all those years ago, I was proud of then, and to be back here and to understand that that work continues, and that there are so many lawyers around the country who are involved in LSC, who are involved in pro bono work, providing that access to justice, and who are working on these issues every day in their careers, who got their start because of that opportunity that they had, is something that this school should feel particularly great about. So it's really good to be back. Chief Justice McCormick, it's great to be here with you. And Jack Harbaugh, I was here at the same time, I was an undergrad at the same time as Coach Harbaugh, as Jim, and we didn't know each other, but I suspect that in the mid-'80s that it wouldn't have been so difficult for Jim's friends to guess that at some point in the future, he might do exactly the job he's doing now. And it wouldn't have been that surprising to some of my friends then that maybe at some point, if everything worked out, I might have the opportunity to do what I do now. More people thought that of him than of me, frankly. But I don't think that there would have been a lot of people who would have known that when Jim Harbaugh, our star quarterback, ultimately became Coach Harbaugh of our football team, that he would also be a champion for providing access to justice. And as Bo always used to say, there is something special about a Michigan man, and that combination of coaching football and working so hard to provide access to justice is the perfect illustration of it, and please pass on my thanks to him for all that good work. Now, I have so many more law school stories that I want to tell, but I want to share with you just a few thoughts on the important work that you do. And we're here on rivalry weekend, and I understand there might be some Notre Dame fans, perhaps some Notre Dame graduates here. It's not my job to welcome you, but someone I'm sure is. But also to celebrate the work of the Legal Services Corporation. Tomorrow's game, everyone knows tomorrow's game is going to start 0-0. When we walk into the big house, there will be zeros on the scoreboard. And as badly as we might want, as badly as I desperately want to win this game, the home field advantage doesn't extend to the scoreboard. It's easy to see. It would be readily apparent for everyone to understand how unfair it would be if the big house came, if any stadium came with a 21-point lead from the opening kickoff, if you walked in and you were down by 21 points right at the beginning. That's unfairness that is easy for everyone to see. It is not always as easy to see unfairness in our legal system. That's why I'm so thankful for the work of Legal Services Corporation. It just means, it helps to make clear that if justice means anything in our country, it means equality under law. And there are so many barriers ahead of low-income individuals before they ever reach the courthouse door. And the barriers put equal justice at risk in the most dire circumstances: to escape from an abusive relationship, to keep a family together, to keep your home, to fend off fraud, to find your way through government benefits, to get basic health care, to recover from natural disasters, to protect our most fundamental constitutional rights. Legal Services Corporations, LSC, is there to help address all of these. Legal aid is there at times when our most universal needs are in jeopardy. When our neighbors don't know where to turn and don't have the money to get the services that they need, legal aid is there, and it ought to be there for all of them. 60 million people, as John said, nearly 60 million people in the United States, over 18% of our population qualifies for legal assistance from LSC-funded programs, almost 60%. In 2017, LSC programs served 1.7 million people nationwide and did incredibly important work for all of them. And 408 people, including attorneys and paralegals, worked on LSC-funded projects in Florida. Legal aid cases receive half their funding from LSC. And at first, it might seem like the work that you do is helping your individual client, and there are so many more clients who need your services. But injustice in our legal system spreads throughout our society. Injustice in the legal system isn't limited to the legal system. A healthy, accessible justice system is necessary for a healthy society. And it's necessary for a just society. In fact, providing civil legal services to low-income individuals saved the state of Florida over $4.2 million in costs related to domestic violence and homelessness prevention in just 1 year. But we need to invest more in your work. More than 50% of those eligible for LSC-funded services are turned away due to high demand. And that's why I'm so committed. That's why I'm working with Debbie Dingle, representative who is privileged to represent this fine institution. That's why we're working so hard to make sure that the funding is increased. It's why we're at battle now with the Senate to make sure that we do everything we can to maximize that funding. So I'm grateful for the work that you do. I am grateful for the opportunity to spend some time with you today. I'd like to thank, again, Dean West and John Levy and everyone on the LSC board. I want to wish all of you much success in the work that you're going to do here this weekend. Less success to those of you who are cheering for Notre Dame tomorrow. And I am particularly thrilled as a graduate of Michigan Law School, as a member of the House Judiciary Committee who strives every day with so many of my colleagues to provide greater access to justice. I'm thrilled to be working alongside you as your partner to ensure that we have a legal system that is an even playing field for everyone in this country. Thank you for having me, and good luck with the rest of your program.